Hello and welcome to the DBQ class by Nikhil Shetty. In today's video, we will explore how the printing press had been such an influential aspect in the daily lives of the Renaissance Europeans. As you can see here, this is a picture of some men building a printing press and using it to the fullest. Now let's talk about our DBQ question and how we're going to answer it. After all, this question is related to our Renaissance unit, and to help us solve it, we are going to use a Renaissance packet. So as we can see here, our question is, what was the most important effect of the printing press? Over here. And although we might need the analysis of this document to help us answer this important question, I do have a short answer to the question. My answer is, I think that the most important effect of the printing press was that news and ideas spread faster and were translated into different languages in different cities. Firstly though, I need to analyze our chosen document number 6 so that we can go into this question even further. And also later on in this video, I'm going to introduce another question which will help us solve this main question. So let's go. Okay, so let's talk about our document and then analyze each part of it step by step. The first part of our document is basically a letter by Christopher Columbus, as you can see here, that was sent to King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella, describing his journey to and from the Americas. And surprisingly enough, the Spaniards had found this letter floating inside the Indian Ocean, showing us how fast the letter had spread from the Americas all the way to there. Also, the document even has a map which shows us how the letter had spread all the way from Lisbon, the original sending place of the letter, to Strasbourg, the original landing place for the letter. And this spread of the letter shows us how the printing press was at great action in the time of the Renaissance. Now that wasn't the only thing significant about the letter at the time. In addition to all these marvelous movements, the exact same letter was published to many other cities along the way from Lisbon to Strasbourg. And what's more, the letter was even printed into the vernacular of that exact city it was published to. And by the way, the cities were numerous at the time, and the letter had to make sure that it stopped at 7 cities before it reached its final destination. And these cities were Valladolid, Spanish city, Barcelona, another Spanish city, Rome, an Italian city, Florence, another Italian city, Basel, a Swiss city, Paris, a French city, and Antwerp, a Belgian city. Wow, what a lot of cities. Well, and people said that the printing press wasn't influential. Well, guess what? They are wrong. Also, when the letter had landed onto the different cities, huge amounts of copies were made for very cheap prices, and because of this, we can possibly see how anyone could have learned about Columbus's life. This is an example of cultural diffusion in action, all because of the magic of the printing press. Now, remember how I said that we were going to answer another small question in order to help us answer the main DBQ question? Well, that question is, how does the printing press affect the spread of ideas and news? And so you see, this all leads back to the same idea about the printing press and everything similar to that. So, as we all know, the printing press was such an outbreaking invention that millions of people had become educated after the glorious invention. Also, the one letter sent from Columbus had spread to many different cities in such less time, and had also been translated into different versions for people to read and understand. Because of this development, many more books and ideas had traveled quickly and had also been written in the vernacular of many areas. To make it even better, the ideas and books published were also very cheap and easily accessible, showing us how even poor and uneducated people could be able to know more about life around them. Now, just imagine this. If the printing press weren't invented at the time, then who knows how slow life would have been in that case. Tough to imagine, right? Thanks to the printing press, our generation doesn't have to live a life full of burden compared to the world before us. And also, if you see, the printing press was so influential that many people today bring up the example of how it affected the world before us and how we can use it still today to make our world a much better place in technology, literature, education, and everything similar to that. Anyway, this is all for today, and I hope you learned something new about the printing press and its significance to the world before us and the world today. Thank you very much.